The bumps you feel are asteroids smashing into the hull of this ship. Also, we're flying without a navigational system and can't seem to change course.
Miss, are you telling us absolutely everything?
Not exactly. We're also out of coffee.
Hello and welcome to our first self-directed project of the year. We were given the task of making a short film around the theme of panic with these restrictions. It could only be 10 seconds long, it had to be filmed on a mobile phone, and there had to be 4 alternative edits. Me and my brother decided to work together as we have done in the past, and our first thought was to make an anthology of 10-second films, as we thought just one film at this duration wouldn't be too much work.
Our first step in the process of making a film is to mind map the given theme to see what ideas it generates. After doing so, we collaborate on a list of initial ideas that we might choose to develop further. We then go on to do some general research of the theme, check its true definition, what myths it might relate to, and so on. This is in order to see what further ideas this might generate, or if it adds to any we already have.
We found, after looking at the definition of panic, which is a sudden strong feeling of fear that prevents reasonable thought and action, that some of our ideas more closely resembled anxiety or worry. It is a sudden onset of fear that makes the difference between the definitions, and so some ideas were taken off the list at this point.
Don't panic! Don't panic!
We then think of the logistics of each idea, what will be needed to film each one, and if it is achievable in the given time frame. These factors then help us to whittle down the ideas list into the ones we will take on to the next phase of development, the storyboarding and experimentation phase.
Before continuing, we looked at some examples of panic already in films, sometimes expressed through the performance of the actor, sometimes through the camera movement and editing technique.
I can't breathe.
No, it's okay.
I can't breathe. Look, just go. Just keep going, please. Just go. Fuck.
You're gonna have to
No, just go. God damn it. Go. Why are they singing? Why are they singing this fucking song? Just tell them to shut the fuck up. Come on, let's go.
You're gonna have to calm down, okay?
This step always provides some inspiration for getting our ideas visualised on paper. We drew some visual responses to panic and also used cynetics to visualise these concepts further.
We then drew up some rough storyboards for the 3 ideas we had chosen, which were:
a man waking up to lots of text messages asking where he is. He goes to sit up in bed but his head hits a wooden lid. He is buried alive.
someone is taking a video of theirself for social media bragging about how they queued for days to be the first to get the latest phone. The phone falls from their hands as we see panic grip their face.
The mother is in the park with her child. She puts him on the swing, turns her back, and when she looks back the child is gone. Our plan at this point was for me to film the mother losing the child, Tom to film the dropping of the phone, and for us to collaborate on the filming of the Buried Alive film.
As we had to film the whole thing using our mobile phones, we thought it was a good idea to test out each of their capabilities, and so took some experimental videos on each.
Next, it was time to test out the storyboards in photographic form. We made a makeshift coffin from drawing boards and classroom chairs for the burial idea, and this test made us realise that moving the camera into the coffin would make the viewer more involved and the panic more apparent. It was at this point that we broke away to test and film our individual films.
I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down, now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone. Everything's gonna be all right. Please,
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
yourself.